David Banner. Banner often thanks you for helping him during a very depressing time in his life. Can you speak on your observation of his state at that time and how you felt you could contribute to helping him turn that state around?
We were actually talking about Banner's depression yesterday. And I don't know if you guys have ever been around with somebody with depression, but when you're in the middle of it, I didn't know that he was depressed, like clinically. I did not know that he actually had clinical depression, and neither did he. He would just he'd be up for 3 and 4 days at a time. Like he would never stop moving and he would just drive himself to exhaustion. I remember we were at the video for Cool, the Anthony Hamilton song, where he had a verse on Cool. And the video shoot starting 4, 5 in the morning. Finished shooting, and we probably wrapped Banner about 6 or 7 in the afternoon. And we get in the limo to go back to his crib. He sits down in the chair, and he passes out in the chair. Then he slid out of the chair, and he's on the floor in the limo. And I told the dude, take me to the hospital in Burbank right now, on Olive. And they checked him in for 3 days. He was severely dehydrated. And, sleep, that's when I learned how dangerous sleep deprivation is. You stay up for a week, you might die. You can't go no longer than 5 or 6 days without sleep. And he would routinely go 3 or 4. And so I didn't really know what was going on, man, but I used to go over there every day and just sit with him. I stayed with him in the hospital for them 3 days. And when we got out, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And I knew that a person in that state shouldn't be by themselves. So every day when I wasn't working, I was working out of Banner's house. And I would just be over there on the couch, not doing nothing. I'm not no counselor, not no life coach. But something just told me he didn't need to be by himself. And he later on told me that me just sitting there with him for those days or weeks meant a lot to him because I gave him something else to think about other than what was depressing him. You see what I'm saying? Now, looking back on it, 6, 7, 8 years later, I can see that it was depression. But that's what all the information that we have about him now. In those moments, I didn't see myself as saving his life. I didn't even see him as being depressed. I just see him as my brother that was in need of somebody else to be there for him. So that's really what I was doing. And then in terms of the fitness, I learned some things about him real quick. Banner wasn't drinking water. So I took the first 18 pounds off of Banner just by getting him to drink water. Banner used to drink juice and Kool-Aid. That's how we are in the South. Nobody's telling us that we're supposed to drink water to save our lives and things of that nature. So the less water you drink, the more your body holds on to water. So he was holding on 18, 20 pounds of water by not drinking it. You know what I'm saying? And I knew my father's a severe high blood pressure patient. He's in kidney failure right now because he spent his whole life having high blood pressure. And that's what it does. It kills your kidneys. So he ends up in dialysis. And so I knew he had a high salt diet and he wasn't drinking water. And eventually that wasn't going to work good for him. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of his fitness, the first thing I did was get him to drink water. Then I started correcting some things on his diet and his nutrition. And honestly, at the time that I was working with him, he didn't tell me he was close to being a diabetic. He didn't tell me he had sleep apnea. I knew he had high blood pressure because we talked about both our fathers having it and he has it, but I didn't have it. And so I knew he was on a dangerous track based on not drinking water and consuming a lot of sodium. So from his physical standpoint, I did know beyond the look for a music video that I was really impacting his physical health. I did know that because I had seen what that lifestyle can do to you. You know what I'm saying? Firsthand, right in my family. So I did have a sense of it from a physical standpoint. I have to be honest, from a mental standpoint, I did not. I was just being there for my brother.
Talk about what you had going on prior to the pandemic and how it affected your schedule once the lockdown occurred.
Man, the pandemic, I had 8 months worth of tours that got shut down from the pandemic between the Millennium Tour with Omarion, who I'm the head of security for, and also I do security for Jill Scott. And so each one of those artists had a domestic tour and a European tour set up for 2020. And so out of those 8 months, I got 4 weeks working a tour with Jill Scott and 5 shows into a 38-show tour with Omarion and the Millennium Tour. So those were the 2 major things that I had going on this year. My principal clients are obviously David Banner, Jill Scott. I also work with D'Angelo, Omarion, and on the actress, I got a lot of actors too. Tasha Smith is a huge client of mine. Tasha Smith, I want to give a shout out to her. She actually is the reason why I'm working with Jill Scott. They were on a movie, Why Did I Get Married? And I was training Tasha because she had a bikini scene. So if you see that bikini scene and Why Did I Get Married and you like it, I'll let your man. Y'all know the one. She coming out the water in a teal bikini. I see you grinning, Tommy. You've seen it before. Your nasty ass. But I tell you what Tasha did, man, and this really changed my life and how I treat people. Tasha drove me to Jill Scott's house one day. And she said, Jill, this is Scott. Scott's your new personal trainer. I've already paid for your first week of training. And she left. And she left me over there. And I started working with Jill during Why Did I Get Married? When that wrapped, I was teaching Jill how to box too. Don't run up on Jill Scott. You will get your nose broke. That left, right, straight, that left, right hook. Run up if you want to. But anyway, I started teaching Jill how to box. And that's when she got the idea that I could be her security guard as well. See, what happens is, because I do training and security, they get 2 jobs with 1 check. They get 2 jobs with 1 plane ticket. They get 2 jobs with 1 hotel room. They get 2 jobs with 1 per diem. So I think the fact that I'm versatile has allowed me to navigate the business a little better than people who just do one or the other. You know what I'm saying? I actually thought about adding massage to it, but shit, I might not have no days off then. And Lee thinks that I have ulterior motives to my massage dream, but that's not true. But yeah, so like, say for instance, D'Angelo, at first when I started working with D, I was doing personal training on the road with him. And then they were like, wait a minute, you do security too? Yeah, so now I do both when I'm with him. Same with Omari. I started out as his personal trainer. I ended up as his bodyguard. So just adding skills to the toolbox, man, and, you know, having them skills ready in the clip when it's time to shoot them. So that's how I've been able to pretty much push through.
Tell us a little about your relationship with Sully.
It's funny, you know, Sully always tells people I didn't speak to him for the first year. What Sully doesn't tell y'all is Banner never told me who Sully was. So I would show up places and there would just be this gigantic person there. And I would say, what's up, dog? And he would say, what's up? And we would go on about our way. I didn't know Sully was doing A&R because I don't live here. You know what I'm saying? I don't live in Atlanta. So I didn't know what the day-to-day was. I would just, and he's had people working for him before. You know how that shit go. You pull up, there's somebody just there. Hey, what's up, dog? All right. And we keep it moving. Now, David and Sully have a special relationship, but I did not know that. You know, Banner's telling Sully, I can't wait for you to meet Scott. Y'all got a lot in common. He's not telling me that. So I don't know that Sully is as close to Banner as he is. This is just a big motherfucker that drove the truck up. You see what I'm saying? So it always sounds like Sully would walk in the room, hey, Scott, how you doing? I say, hey, what's up, dog? That wasn't what it was like. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the full arsenal of information, and that's Banner's fault. But once me and Sully got cool, that's my dog, man. I fuck with Sully. You know what I'm saying? We have a very similar sense of humor. We definitely have a very similar work ethic. And we both got love for Banner. And when I see how much love that Sully has for Banner, that alone gets my utmost respect. Because I don't worry about Banner when he's with Sully. Sully gonna take care of Banner at least as good as I do, if not better. And so I don't worry about that when I'm not on the job. You see what I'm saying? And because he has David Banner's back, I always have his. That's my dog.
Do you see yourself slowing down anytime soon?
I definitely will not be normal just because I never have been. I don't think I'm normal. I'll be 51 next week. And I don't think that I'm the typical 51-year-old person. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'll be the typical 101-year-old person. I might still give you a sub 1 hour Murph. You know what I'm saying? I might still pop off 300 pull-ups on you. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what I'm into. Now, I'm sure I won't be doing the same things I'm doing now, but I will be doing something. And it probably won't be what everybody else my age is doing. But that's just, I don't think I planned that. That's just the way I am. I've just been a person that feels like you should do whatever makes you happy. And at this age, right now, I'm doing what makes me happy between traveling and working for people that I love. And I always continue to do that in some capacity. You know what I'm saying? And this is exhausting, but I train for it. You know what I'm saying? I work out so I can be able to work. You know what I'm saying? I work out so I can chase behind Sully while he running point. You know, I'm going to be in the back this weekend. You feel me? Sully on the job now. You know what I'm saying? But I train for that because I got to be able to keep up with the cat. He in his early 30s. I'm in my early 50s. So, you know, I'll be doing something out of the ordinary, I'm sure. It won't be out of the ordinary for me because it'll be what I want to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And more than likely, it'll center around helping people somehow because that's what I'm passionate about. You know what I'm saying? It just won't be in a traditional sense.
Hydration.
Big on hydration, man. I'm big on hydration. My father goes to dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. What you do in dialysis is you basically have a blood transfusion. So he's getting a blood transfusion 3 days a week. Why? Because his kidneys no longer work. Why? Because he had high blood pressure for the last 60 years. Why? Lack of water. So he's spending 15 hours a week on a hospital bed getting a blood transfusion, which could have been avoided if he drank one of these every day. So that's why I preach so much about hydration. It's the easiest thing to do that will prolong your life. And a lot of people, especially black folks, don't do it. And so you can do whatever you want to. If you're not drinking water, eventually something's gonna break down. I've seen that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? So even Banner, I got Banner to drink a gallon of water a day, bro, and he was losing 1.5 to 2 pounds a day. You're carrying around 18 pounds of water because you're not drinking water. And now you got severe high blood pressure, borderline stroke level, man. You know, and that's the other thing. You had that stroke, you're never gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something that you can do that prevents a lot of different diseases and conditions that's real easy. What's easier than drinking water? You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking you to solve the world's problems in order to be healthier. Just drink some fucking water. So that's why my hashtag stay hydrated is everything I do, man, because it's the easiest thing that can have the biggest impact. So that's why I preach it.
Talk a little about those infamous LA house parties you used to
Oh,
go.
man. Banner used to pull up at the house. I moved my truck. I have to block the driveway because the Bentley must be parked. You see what I'm saying? Prominently at the crib when he get there. So he would call me, I'm around the corner. That means move your navigator out of the way so Banner can back his Bentley in the driveway. So he would back into the driveway, get out, 2 bottles of champagne, a bottle of Hennessy, and his guitar. And he would just sit back and play the guitar at the gate and just watch the debauchery ensue. But what it was, man, Hollywood is funny, bro. When they go to parties in LA, in Hollywood, a lot of times people are there trying to do business. So the music's not loud, people not really partying, they're not letting their hair down. They ask you, oh, so what's up, brother? What's up, Tommy? What you do for a living? They really want to see what you can do for them. So the party scene is kind of whack, you know what I'm saying? And so my house parties became a place where you could come and lay your hair down and not have to worry about all that. My man Sticky Fingers from Onyx rolled up on me one day in the gym and he said, man, white Hollywood has a lot of secret places and parties that they go to and stuff. He said, your house is that for black Hollywood. There used to be all kind of stars and celebrities over there, man, but they didn't have to worry about getting their picture taken. Wasn't nobody asking them for nothing. You know what I'm saying? We were just in the pool, barbecuing. My man Norris, DJ No would come from Atlanta and DJ for us. And it was just a place where we called it unplugging from the Matrix. And so you'll see any number of Grammy winners and, you know, people on #1 top 10 TV shows just around there being themselves. And it doesn't sound like much for us because we do it all the time, but in LA, that doesn't really happen. You can't really lay your hair down and be yourself. And that was the outlet that I provided, man. So that shit used to go insane. I remember one time this girl passed out, man. in my bathroom. We called it paramedics to come get him. Paramedics came, they were at the end of their shift. They parked the ambulance in front of Banner's truck and they stayed for 4 hours. Once the girl was hydrated and okay, she was dehydrated, Tommy. Once they got her situated, I looked around, them cats had a plate of barbecue. Okay, they was in their uniforms, the truck was right outside, and they was just walking around. But the vibe, it was the vibe. It was the vibe. You could just be yourself. Wasn't nobody finna tell on them, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna tell on them. So it was just a comfortable environment for people to truly express themselves. And I'm sorry you missed it, Lee. Because it was, man, you would look out at my pool, Tommy, and you couldn't even, it didn't look like no water was in it. It was just full of people. Just no space in there. No space in there. My little nephew came around there when he was 12. His first house party, Memorial Day. I looked outside and he was on the raft with his shades on. It was 9 women around him. I ain't got rid of his little ass since, and he's 25. You know what I'm saying? So you know him. Yeah, and that was the day that hooked him. I couldn't get him out of my house since then. But it was just, we were just having a good time, man, in a place that didn't really provide that for us. Not as black people trying to progress in entertainment. And so it was an amazing time. But we couldn't keep that shit up. It was too physical. It was too physical.
Any defining moments in your career that stand out that you can speak about?
Yeah, I can think of many. They happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? If you think about the people I work with, they're all groundbreaking artists. Omari, look at the things he's done with his combination of music and dance. He's groundbreaking. You know what I'm saying? The boy band thing, he started that for this generation, for the early 2000s. You know, that's his bag. He created that. Look at Banner. You know, Banner was one of the first cats to really come out with that aggressive down south rap, like he was talking about, and conscious rap at the same time. You don't even see that now. He was doing that back in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? Jill Scott. Jill Scott is neo-soul. D'Angelo. You see what I'm saying? So I've always had the blessing of being around groundbreaking individuals. So I get my mind blown on a weekly basis at some of the things that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But when I first set my goal to be in fitness, it was because of D'Angelo. I didn't know him at the time. I just saw what he was doing musically, and I was like, that's the gig I want. I want to travel around the world with D'Angelo as his personal trainer. That was about 2002. Moved to LA, go through all kind of trials and tribulations, trying to build a career. I end up working with D'Angelo in 2011. And I was in Toronto, standing on the side of the stage. D is on stage playing, and it hit me. I'm traveling the world with D'Angelo. That was a goal I had set 9 years earlier, but I had been through so much. I forgot that was the reason I got into business. And it all clicked to me in that moment that I had actually set a goal, worked my ass off for almost 10 years, and achieved that goal. Most people don't really get that sense of completion on a task. And I had made it. You know what I'm saying? I did exactly what I wanted to do in that business. It took me 9 years of hard work to get there, but I did it. And so that always sticks out in my mind that if you do things from the right perspective in the right place, you know what I'm saying? If you have the right purpose in why you get up in the morning and you work hard as hell, if somebody tells you no, you ask them why not. And when they tell you why not, you go fix that shit and then come back. And if you keep hammering away at it until there's no more no's, you'll get to that goal, man. I'm a witness to that. So that first international job with D'Angelo always sticks out in my mind because that was the true actualization of a dream.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And also, where do you plan on taking your fitness company in that time as well?
I'm starting to transition more over to speaking about nutrition, especially with our people. We have a really interesting relationship with food as a culture. And I believe that our relationship with food plays a huge role in why we haven't truly been able to obtain true freedom as an entire people. I think that food is used as a weapon in our communities to keep us depressed and suppressed as well. And so where I see myself in the next 5-10 years is evolving my message around how important nutrition it is to the struggle. So kind of transitioning from the day-to-day grind of training people in the gym and things of that nature, and more speaking to groups and things like the podcast where I get to, share more information on the importance of health and our people is where I see myself going. I'm trying to move over from more of a physical existence to more of an intellectual existence, I would say, in that space. In terms of fitness, working on an app that incorporates nutrition as well as the workout together, that can kind of make some of the questions and answers come a bit easier to our folks in a more digestible way. People don't really talk to Black folks about fitness. We're afterthought in that business. They just figure the ones that want to come are going to come anyway. Nothing's really marketed to Black folks in terms of health and wellness on a large scale. So that's an opportunity to help people and also an opportunity to kind of take my career in another direction at the same time. And so I believe a good business is a business that can help the most amount of people. So in terms of fitness, I know some very core values in terms of health and wellness that will work if you try them. So just getting that message out there on a larger scale so that I can help my people get nutritional freedom as well as financial and spiritual freedom at the same time. So basically more speaking, more lecturing, products coming to market that can augment my message at the same time. But you're still gonna get that ass kicked. Now, I don't think we're gonna be sitting around talking about kale and sea moss all day. Oh, you're gonna throw up. You're going to vomit. You feel me? And I just wanna thank David Banner for the opportunity because he could have chose anybody he wanted to for this podcast. And that goes for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Me, Sully, Regina, you as well, Tommy Nova. He can use anybody he wants to because he can afford to. But he chose people that is in his life, and I think that's commendable. And that's one thing I'll say about him. From the day I met him, he's always been one of the most honorable people I've ever come across. If he says something, that's what he means. You know what I'm saying? And he does things from the right purpose, which is always to help him and those around him to live better lives. So working with somebody as commendable as him has been nothing but a blessing, and I just want to thank him publicly on camera. We thank him all the time in our own ways. Look, I just bought him a knife. You know what I'm saying? Just bought him a new toy because he likes them. But, I just want to thank him publicly for the opportunities that he's given us for us to advance our careers in a way that we wouldn't have without this vehicle. So as long as the podcast is running and he wants me on it, I'll be on it. You feel me? If he needs me, I'm in town shooting. I ride for him like that. But I just want to thank him for being such a solid cat to put us in the position to be able to help people through this vehicle. So thanks, Banner. You're still the meanest person I ever met.
Thank you for supporting the David Banner podcast.
Do you have an almost 360 wave, a barber error in your lineup, or just rocking a Professor X? It's okay. Cover it up and look cool. Miss DC got a flick in my big wave cap for you. One size fits most, and it glows in the dark. If you don't, you better get your king, queen, or even baby kids one. Coming smooth to a wave near you. Instagram at DEZIDC. Again, that's IG, Instagram at DEZIDC.
Hello, hi, this is David Banner, and I'd like to tell you all about Urban Temple Wellness. They invite you to enjoy a healing experience in the heart of Midtown Atlanta. Let the healing hands of the Lotus Queen balance and restore mind, body, and soul in a safe and healthy environment. Custom massage therapy treatments will boost immune health and create a sense of overall well-being. Visit the Urban Temple's website at www.urbantemplewellness.com. That's URBANTEMPLEWELLNESS.com to schedule your next moment of peace and well-being on earth. This is David Banner, and I like to tell you all, enjoy. Peace.